Hey guys, this is Ant bringing you an Unreal Engine tutorial. So in this video I'm going to teach you how to make a moving platform which uses an actor within an InterpToMovement component. And I'm just going to demonstrate that now to show you what it does. So if you hit play, using the third person template as a base, and as you can see here there is a moving platform going back and forth, and it's set to ping pong between one point and another. So if I just try to jump on top of it, you'll see that it carries the third person character to another point in the map. So without further ado, I'll go into how you can make one of these now. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using the third person template. It has all the assets already, but you're free to use first person if you want as a challenge, but I'm going to use this one. Feel free to use whichever you choose. First thing that we need to do is we need to create an actor. So right click in the content browser and I want to choose a blueprint class. From the list, pick parent class, I'm going to choose an actor. And what I'm going to do is, using naming conventions, I'm going to call this BP moving platform. Once you have that, double click on it to open it. So it'll take you into the viewport. There's nothing much here. All it has is the default scene route, and there's not a lot going on really. So what we need to do is we need to give our platform some sort of visual representation. And also it has the other effects as well, is we can give it a physics body so that the player can, if necessarily, jump on top of it, like in the example I've shown you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Components tab in the top left here, and I'm going to press Add. And what I'm going to do is, from the list, I'm going to choose a static mesh. Left click that, hit enter. I'm not going to call it anything else, just static mesh. And what that'll do is that'll allow us to attach a static mesh and give it a visual representation. In the right hand panel, under static mesh category, I'm going to click the drop down here, and I'm going to choose a static mesh chamfer cube. It'll appear on screen. If you've got zoomed in, try and zoom out, because sometimes you can appear inside something. And that basically gives us our representation. It's not going to move yet, but we'll sort that in a bit. So next thing I want to do is it's a box, and it kind of looks similar to what's already in level, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the details panel here under transform, and under scale I'm going to set these to try and change the shape of it. So I'm going to set scale to be 2 on the X, 2 on the Y, and then for the Z I'm going to set that to be 0.1. So in Unreal terms it's going to be 2 meter by 10 centimeters depth. Hit compile, hit save. Also another little trick, if you don't want to do that all the time, go to save on, go to compile, click the free menu here, save on compile, on success only. It saves you having to click twice. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to add a InterpToMovement component. So I'll just go into the components menu here, press click left click add, and then I'm going to search for it because it can be sometimes it's a bit of a pain to find, but I'm going to type in interp and search for InterpToMovement, and I'm going to add it to this actor. So what the InterpToMovement component is, it basically allows an actor to move between a series of points over a given time. So in terms of a moving platform, most of the ones that you see in video games either have some sort of behavior where they ping back and forth, or they move along a set path and then they go back. But in this case I just want the InterpToMovement to basically simulate a ping pong effect like we saw in the example at the start. So once you have the InterpToMovement, I want you to left click it. Just have a quick look at the panel on the right hand side. We're not going to do anything yet, but I just wanted to quickly show you what it means. So it's pretty standard. There's physics controls. You can set physics and you can set some simulation, but the two panels that I'm most interested in is the control section and the behavior section. and basically under these sections you can set duration, which is the time it takes to move from the first point to the last, and the control points basically determines which points in the world space does this platform go to. Under the behavior type, you've got one shot reverse, and if you hover over them you can actually see it give you a description of what they do. So next thing we do is compile. If you haven't enabled that, hit save anyway. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my BP movement platform into the map. Now for now I'll try and get it roughly to where it was. About there, that'll do. And what I want you to do is select in the outliner or click on it in the world. And then once you've got the details panel on the right, I want you to click InterpToMovement. So in the example I use, I set the duration to be 10 seconds. And what I did was I added 2 control points. If you expand that and expand the indexes here on the right hand side, you'll now see that we have 2 control points. So with the moving platform, it's going to start at 0 where it is relative to the world space. So for the moving platform, 0 means 0 on all of the transforms means that it's 0 is where it starts. In the example, I want it to move 1,000 units on the y-axis over here. So, however, I want it to come back and I want this to be continuous. So what I'm going to do is, underneath the behavior tab, I'm going to go to behavior type, click the drop down menu, and I'm going to set it to be ping pong. So what we'll do is we'll hit play and we'll test to see if that works. So going back up to this point in the platform, you can see the moving platform is going to its the second control point, and it's returning to its origin point, which was control point 0. If you jump on top of it, it will now carry the player to an intended destination. So in this case, where I set it to be control point 1. So that's how you create a very easy moving platform with a static mesh and using one component. However, you might be thinking, well, okay, great, I can make it go back and forth, but how do I, mix it up a bit? Well, the good thing about using an actor and using a component is you can create multiple instances of a platform, and you can set the InterpToMovement component to be different. So in this case, what I might do is where you've got this one here, if I select the InterpToMovement component and then just flip these over and hit play, you'll notice you've got 3 moving platforms and they're moving in opposite directions. So you can create a more diverse or range of moving platforms together by just changing the variables underneath the settings on the InterpToMovement component. So it's probably worth having a look at that. You have the freedom of moving in different directions. So say if I wanted this moving platform to go in a different direction, say if I wanted it to move 1,000 units into the sky and basically lerp from go up and down rather than horizontally, so go vertically instead, you can just change the values of that platform, hit play, and as you can see in the video in the world there, you can see the platform moving down. Once it reaches its control point, it'll go back again. So thank you for watching the video, and stay tuned for part 2 where I'll talk about a timeline based version of the moving platform. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you.